So I bought the new Ford Oud Minérale. I'm very excited because the notes looked quite interesting, but I have no idea what this will smell like. Let's unbox this and try it out. So Ford releases a lot of fragrances, and while I do like some of them, some just don't impress me. And most of them are quite expensive for 30ml. I believe this is a fragrance that was discontinued from their sort of a private line and now introduced to their more sort of affordable, come on, what is this, signature line. So this is the bottle, and I rarely talk about bottles, but this actually looks pretty much the same as Tom Ford Ombre Leather, the Parfum, but with a twist. I kind of like it. So what do you think? Do you like the bottle or not? But like always, the only thing that really matters is the juice inside the bottle. So let's spray some on paper and on my hand and also up in the air. This is interesting. Definitely sort of woody, and at least on these first sprays, almost like this sort of a slightly funky kind of oud. So this, at least to me, is not a super clean kind of oud, but I like it. So this is like a mix of something sort of oudy with a bit of freshness. So when I said funky, that was like the first spray. This, just a minute or so into the opening, it doesn't feel as sort of a funky as that initial spray. So definitely oudy and woody. And paper, yeah, on paper this doesn't come off as sort of a warm oudy and woody. There's definitely more sort of a spicy freshness and a bit of that sort of oceanic vibe coming off the paper if I compare it with how it smells off my skin. Yeah, whatever I picked up on that very initial spray has changed quite a bit now, so I really gotta spray it once more up in the air. And yeah, now it's completely different. What I'm getting now is more like a big dose of spicy and sort of an oceanic freshness. So second spray up in the air, very different compared to that initial spray. And this is something I've said so many times. When you have a brand new bottle and spray that first spray can be quite different compared to the rest. So when you try something out, make sure you try it more than once. So the opening to me on that second spray is definitely something that is quite sort of an oceanic and marine. Definitely a big dose of sort of a soft spiciness and something quite salty. So I do find that this scent, at least so far, is, yeah, quite interesting in that it keeps changing from sort of a spray to spray. But this to me is definitely something sort of a marine, oceanic, quite a prominent dose of spiciness, soft spiciness, and something sort of salty. And I gotta say, this smells really good. I really like it. This is not as mass appealing, oceanic, salty, spicy, fresh as some other sort of a designer fragrances. This actually smells sort of a niche fresh, if that makes sense. But with that said, I do feel that this is sort of in a way a mass appealing, yet not as mass appealing as some other sort of freshness, kind of freshy. It also smells like a twist of something. So this, in a way, actually feels quite unique, but unique in a way where I'm like, okay, I've smelled something like this before, but definitely not done in this way. There's definitely a sort of a niche feel to its freshness. So that was the opening. I'm gonna give this some time to dry down. So it's time to go through the dry down, and okay, the dry down is where I pick up more of its sort of a oudiness. Now this is also when I'm actually picking up a bit of that sort of initial funkiness that sort of went away on my second spray. So this is oudy. I don't find this to be like a super clean woody and woody scent. It's definitely woody and woody, and I do feel there's like a richness to that oud, but it's not a loud kind of oud. It feels like the oud is taking a backseat to everything else. And that oud, at least based on this first impression and these initial sprays, have a slight sort of a kind of funkiness to it. I would love to know if I'm the only one who picks up a bit of sort of a funkiness to that oud. With that said, don't expect this to be like a super funky oud or anything. But what I'm saying is that I don't find this to be a super clean kind of oud. This is definitely, at least to me, a rich kind of oud, but a soft kind of oud that sort of sits in the background. So the full dry down to me, at least based on this first impression, is something that is quite soft. I don't find this to be a loud kind of dry down. This is like soft woodiness with that oud. The oud in the far dry down is very easy to wear, very likable. And together with that oud, you have its sort of an oceanic freshness. The spiciness at this point is very, very soft. However, I do feel that its sort of a saltiness is growing as it dries down. There's a slight hint of soft warmth at the base, so almost like something sort of musky. This is like a cool, classy, more unique freshie you spray on when you want to stand out. I don't think this is the kind of fresh scent you spray on when you want the freshest of fresh. There are other scents that do fresh more intensely and a bit more mass appealing than this. So doing this first impression, I really feel I need to do a proper review of this. But based on this first impression, I do think that I would probably rate this around 8 or slightly above. I definitely like this, and I like this a lot. Once again, this feels like a freshie, but with a twist. So yeah, this is definitely a more fresh kind of scent, but it's not your common kind of freshie. And when it comes to its freshness, I have a lot of fragrances that have more sort of an intense and more common kind of freshness than this. And once again, I don't even know if I have any fragrances with the combo of freshness and oud, at least not done this way. So there you go. This to me, at least based on this first impression, is definitely approved. I like it. When it comes to its usage, I'm gonna say this is fairly versatile, but I don't feel this is as sort of versatile as, let's say, fragrances like Versace Pour Homme, like Blue Intense, etc. Mostly because of its sort of a saltiness and woodiness. But with that said, this is definitely not something I feel is overly challenging or something like that. I need to wear this more to get a proper feel for its performance, but based on this first impression, I do feel that the performance is definitely above average. It's definitely not beast mode, but I do feel that this is the kind of scent that can leave very noticeable scent trails. So there you go, I like it. I'm glad I wasn't disappointed with this one. Now I would love to know how you feel about Tom Ford's Oud Minérale, so make sure you comment. Like this video, I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe and that notification bell. Make sure you check out the videos over there, and I'll see you in the next one.